how did you meet Nan?
We met at a 21st birthday party. It was a mutual friend, obviously, and someone I had gone to school with. Now, the first night we met, Pa was just taken aback, I tell you. He was just, remember the other night when we did the Hucklebuck?
Yes.
Remember us saying that was the night we met? And they played it was just the tune at that time.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's good. We loved it. So that particular night they played the Hucklebuck over and over and over again, and Pa kept asking me for a dance, another dance. And we went out, so I remember we went out in this little hallway where they had the supper served, and Pa and I sat at supper. I just think you remember that. But anyway, I had gone to the party with my sister, and we were staying at my grandmother's house, which was just a short walk away, so we were going to just walk home. But as it got towards the end of the night, because I just met Pa, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I hope he doesn't ask to take me home because I've got my sister with me. So we went towards the end of the night when people started going, we left the hall because I didn't want Pa to ask me to go home. So, and then next couple of nights he phoned to ask me out. But the story behind that was, I was still at school and my mum and dad were very strict, and I wasn't allowed to go out with boys until I'd finished school. So Pete used to, because Pete had already finished school, so he used to phone up Mum. He was very polite. He used to phone out to our house and Mum would generally answer the phone, and he would ask if I could go to the pictures or a dance or something. And my mum used to always say no, she can't go unless her sister goes. So,
two sisters.
So a lot of times I didn't go to things because I wasn't allowed to. But my mum, as time went on, Mum always said that Pete was another son. She got along very well. And they used to quite often laugh and say, wonder we ever ended up together, because Mum used to say no to every time he'd ring up to ask me out. Mum would say no, she only goes out with a sister or friends. But Pete kept persisting. It paid off.
Yeah, you are. Yay!
Now that wouldn't happen today.
Probably.
I'm sure that would not happen today, because I would have been 16.
Either
That's right.
wouldn't happen or you rebel.
Next question. What was your
Oh,
night
Pete
like?
didn't ask about
His experience, his side
his
of the coin.
experience. It might be quite different to mine.
Sorry,
What about your perspective?
perspective
Yeah.
For meeting.
of meeting then? No, it was that was very exciting. I thought as well. It was one of the opportunities to go to an 18th party. We both knew the people, but we both knew the man who was turning 21.
21, yeah.
21.
Okay.
He was turning 21. And so we both knew them, and we knew a number of people there because they were, a lot of them were part of the Gunning Gap community, or the young people were, as well as some other friends we didn't know. And so I found out that Helen, I think I knew she was from the farm across from us, but we'd never met before. And then we just saw each other in town sometimes, but never formally met. Because we went to a Catholic church, right? And Nan's parents, they went to they went to a different church, Church of England church. And in those days, early days, there was always a bit of conflict about the different churches where you went to. They were very segregated. They were. And a bit different today. People are a little bit more easy to get along with today. Easy mixing today. They're not quite as...
The war of churches.
Yeah, the war of churches, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But there was also, because my dad was a Mason,
Yes.
which is a special little club, and the Masons generally didn't particularly like Catholics. So it was always, my dad used to always say, there are enough Church of England people in the world without marrying a Catholic. And I can remember him saying that for years and years and years. And of course, Pete was So, but it didn't pose a problem, because, I don't know, Pete came home and everyone liked him, and
Charming man.
he charmed them, and my dad never ever, even though I'd grown up with, you don't marry a Catholic, there's enough Church of England, even though I'd grown up with that, never, when we started going out, did he ever say to me, you know, you shouldn't be going out with a Catholic. He accepted him and just life
Yes.
went on.
For you, Pa.
Well, I think probably the main thing was they thought I would be assimilated into the family well, and I'd mould into their family as well, and Helen would come into my family, so we'd join up as well together. I think people think of that. That's important.
Yeah, well,
and
yeah,
that's probably why your dad didn't have any issues. You didn't have any issues, and your mother never did. It's interesting with the mother as well. It's another question about Helen's mum. While we got on so well, because Helen's mother was a lovely lady. She was extreme.
And you just love Nan.
Yeah, she's lovely.
She's lovely.
And a lot of people sort of, they oftentimes say, "Oh, terrible mothers-in-law." They've had songs about mothers-in-law as being terrible, but I think I had the best mother-in-law. I had the best mother-in-law of all. So I was blessed with having a lovely mother-in-law. So it was very nice. Yeah. So
You ready for the next question now?
Looks like there's mold in the bench.
What was your wedding like?
it was wonderful. From what I can, because I just finished university. We finished in early December, and we ended up getting married 2 weeks later after I finished in 1970. So everything was arranged beforehand, everything was organised. I didn't have to do too much organising. I just come back, finished from uni, come back. Helen's family prepared, did all the wedding, organised it all. So that was a lovely day. Everyone gathers together, as you know, with the weddings. It's always lovely having families join together and all catch up together. So it was a wonderful occasion. Yep. So
Well, it was great. We had a great day. Pa's pants were too long. Because
You need to note that down.
well, he did, because he came home. He had to stay in Sydney for university exams, and so he was only home a short time. Actually, I think you were only home a couple of days. So, and anyway, that wasn't really relevant. But I wasn't having these pants for too long.
too long.
No, it was a great day. We had a great day. We had lots of family there. We actually had a lot of people I didn't really know, because that back then, like my mum and dad had asked people along because they had known them a long time, and they thought that I had also known them when in fact I was a kid and I didn't really know them too well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people coming to our wedding we didn't really know that well, but that's what happened back then. That parents invited people that from way back, friends from way back, and so no, it was a lovely wedding. It was very hot. I remember that.
Summer would have been
It
too.
was summertime, yeah. It's very
We all
hot.
had,
and
but one interesting thing is we all had to, for 6 months or more beforehand, everyone saved up the wishbones.
that's right, yeah.
From the chickens' wishbones. From the chicks. They get that little wishbone, and they used to dry them out.
Oh, you
Then
never
they
said
paint
that.
them. Then you put your fingers in together and you make a wish.
And that was
So
part of the
wishbones, that
table
was part of the
decorations.
decorations.
But also back then, because I was Church of England and Pa was Catholic, for about 6 months beforehand, we had to go to classes. So Pete was in Sydney. He was seeing a priest in Sydney on a regular basis for chats about marrying at Church of England. And I was in Forbes, living in Forbes, so I used to go to regularly to see the priest there, and he too would be giving me lessons on what was expected of me to marry into the Catholic faith. And I had to sign a document to say that if we had children, they would be brought up as Catholic. And that just doesn't happen today, but we had to sign to say that I would bring the children up as Catholics, for seeing I was Church of England.
Does that mean Papa's
And that
Catholic?
doesn't, yeah.
Yeah.
You're telling me this now?
Bro,
Oh my god.
he told us I went to a Catholic
They
school.
went to a Catholic school.
Yeah,
know,
I
that's
go to
why-
a Catholic
well,
school.
That's why I know the law.
The law.
I know
Stop.
But that doesn't, I mean, now no one cares, no one goes to church, but we actually had to have lessons,
Yes.
go and have chats with the priest prior to being married. So I remember that about our wedding as well.
He's here too.
Yeah.
He's coming. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you want to do another break?
So that's, oh no, we're right.
Oh, it's still going, all right. Do you want to ask questions then? So,
Not really.
Okay.
no one?
What was Papa like when he was a youngin?
How young?
I don't know, like a kid? Just a kid?
Are you kidding? Oh no, he was very well
Oh, Papa.
Yeah.
behaved. No, very well behaved. Enjoyed doing lots of things, a lot of sporting activities. Did. Played squash and we went to tennis and soccer, and so he's very active physically. Very, probably a little bit untidy in his room, a little bit. Not too bad, but like everyone else.
He was lucky he had a tidy mum.
Like he had a tidy, yeah, touch wood. No, well looked after, lots of things. We had, and I remember in the early 70s when computers first came out. We got a Commodore 64 computer there, and you used to, it had no memory in it. Now built-in memory, you used to have little discs they used to put in as memory banks, memory storage.
Yes.
So yeah, but that was the first of the computers when they first came out. So a lot of and good music. That was first when VHS tapes came out as well. So a lot of things have been superseded since then. They used to have, recordings, cassette recordings, and you record as well. So a lot of interesting things that we did around the house. He had lots of friends come around. So they used to all enjoy coming around to our place because we always made them very welcome when they come around. Cook up some specialties. Used to cook up, then used to cook up some special things. We used to cook up some special things. I think we had some rabbit, didn't we? Had rabbit stews.
Well, yeah, we were famous for the food.
Famous for the food. Food was famous.
Used to come around.
Yes, I used to make up special little pies and things as well. And then we'd cook up some special dishes for all the kids, all the boys used to come around. Yeah, that was the early days before the girlfriends came into play. That was a different story. It comes a bit later. That might be classified or censored, but we'll leave that. Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Now, my recollections of Adam. Now, what I remember, he was always very smart. Always very, very smart. Now, I remember going to playgroup when Papa was probably about 12 months old. And I used to meet up with a couple of girls along the way because we'd walk the playgroup. And your dad would be sitting in the pram saying bus, car, stars or whatever when other kids weren't talking. So he was speaking really early compared to other kids. So I was always so proud of him because he was so clever.
Oh yes, my child can speak.
My child
Yeah.
can talk. So I think he excelled at school until about year 9. He did exceedingly well. He was always up first in the class, second in the class. I remember things that he was writing stories, and as I've said, like when he was in about 5th grade, they stopped him going to writing competitions because he had the ability of an 18-year-old. So he stopped. And I remember a reading competition. They had a reading competition for some particular thing. I can't think what it was now. And Adam had read the most books in the class in a period of time. So I always remember him doing extremely well at school. He had a lot of friends. We always encouraged him and Nige to bring friends home. So even at preschool, I remember he would go to preschool and I'd be picking children up and bringing them home so they could play. Or I'd be inviting friends around for lunch and the mum around for lunch, and she'd bring the children and they'd play. So we always encouraged friends to our house, and we always tried to make them feel welcome. And we thought by doing that we knew who they were playing with, and we thought if they're being entertained at home, we knew they were safe. So we did that until the boys were old enough to be able to go out on their own and be responsible. So so now I remember we had a few rough times during the growing up period, as you will experience. But we seemed to get over them. We got over them. But I think the thing I'm most proud of, well, I'm proud of Adam for doing so exceptionally well from when he was a little boy. We always knew he was going to excel in whatever he did because he always achieved good results. So we always knew that. He was always a lovely little boy. He was always polite and kind and all the qualities that you expect from
But you
children.
also loved his sleep-ins though too, I remember, on Saturday mornings.
Yeah.
I remember
And
when I remember in one Saturday morning, must have been about 10 o'clock I think it would have been, which is getting fairly used when most people are up. And I decided, oh no, everything's to be right now, I'll get the lawnmower out. So I got the lawnmower out, made the back lawn, and got round to the front lawn, started mowing the front lawn, getting it done. I was about halfway through the front lawn when Adam came out. And I thought, oh, this looks very good. He's going to take over the lawn mowing and finish it for me. And he came over and he said, Dad, could you be a little bit quiet with the lawnmower, please? I'm trying to sleep. So
And you love sleep-ins now, I
so
know.
he loves sleeping. So he
Sleeping.
loved his
He loved his
sleeping. So
music.
He loves his music.
And we always had some of his close friends around playing music. They'd come along and play down the family room down the end, and that was noisy.
Use our friends.
And another thing that I used to do, I was usually the taxi driver.
Yes.
And there were quite a few nights I had to get up at 11 or 12 o'clock and pick Adam up. We had a rule that if the boys were out and about, because we always encouraged them never get into a car if they knew someone had been drinking. And we encouraged them to, or we did tell them that if they wanted to lift home, we would always, doesn't matter what time it was, we'd always pick them up, no questions asked. Because we knew if they asked us to go to ring and to pick them up, we knew that, you know, they were serious about it. They weren't just playing the game. But, so I used to quite often go in and pick Adam up from
1 or 2 o'clock in the morning.
1 or
That's
2
true.
o'clock. Yeah.
Many times.
And they were the rules we had, and we were quite happy to do that. Yeah. There was another thing I was going to say about Adam. I forgot what it was now.
So many things to say.
I know, yeah.
So many
Oh, that was
stories.
another one. When the boys, when they were younger, we used to always take them and pick them up, When the boys were starting to go out on their own, I used to lie awake at night listening, because we lived on a hill, and if they were driving, they always had to accelerate to come up the hill. So you always knew when the boys were coming home. But I sort of made a rule. I always got up when they came home and went out to the kitchen and had a drink, a hot chocolate, a drink, and had a talk about the night, because I thought if they knew that Mum was going to be up when they got home, perhaps they wouldn't be drinking as much. So I always, not always, but certainly in those in between years, didn't I?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, always got up to go and have a drink because the boys always came home hungry, and Adam used to make up brogan, and brogan was baked beans and sweet corn.
Oh,
Yeah.
baked beans.
So
I had
when
baked beans out
most
there.
times when he got home, like 1 o'clock, he'd go and heat up, do the brogan trick. So I'd get up and have a talk to him about the night, and I'd have a hot chocolate and go back to bed. So I always made a point with both the boys of getting up and having a talk to them when they got home, in the hope that would keep them on the straight and narrow when they were out.
There's someone
I don't
waiting.
know if it worked. Did it work? Or you
Yeah.
didn't know? You didn't know, Mum.
I didn't know you were doing that. I thought you were just
Tactics.
being.
I just got up to have a little chat.
Yeah, that's cool.
And being a female, I used to ask about, what girls were there or whatever, but Adam never enlarged too much on it.
Well, a bit secretive, but it's all right. It's
So
okay.
no,
Yeah.
I think overall that's a good battery.
It's the battery, I think it's in the battery.
Yeah, so
Excuse me for a minute, I'll remember it going to the battery.
I'm going to.
Time for it.